guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book unhaul. I've had a stack of books like kind of near my bookshelf that have been meaning to be unhauled. I don't know, did that make any sense? Was that even a sentence that made sense? I don't know, but I have a stack of books that I need to unhaul. And yeah, like they are just books that I am not really interested in reading or I just did not like. Or yeah, like just books that I just don't want in my room anymore. So let's just get right on into the stack of books to unhaul. So the first book on this stack is Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, and I really liked The Hunger Games when I first read it, like, oh my gosh, so many years ago. However, Mockingjay was always my least favorite of the Hunger Games books, so I kind of want to get rid of this one. It's just gonna, take up space on my bookshelf. I'm never gonna read it again. I didn't like it, so might as well just get rid of it and see if someone else wants it. Also, by the way, these books that I'm unhauling are probably going to go to either a thrift store or a used bookstore or the library. I don't know. We'll see where they end up. The next book I have is The Sandcastle Empire by Kayla Olson. I got this one in my Owl Crate box for I think maybe August or something like that, but it just never really interested me. I can't, see myself ever reading this or ever wanting to read it. So if by some crazy chance I do end up wanting to read it, then I can just check it out from the library. It's not that big of a deal. So, I think this is dystopian as well, so I don't know. I'm kind of picky with my dystopians now. I don't really want to read like a bunch of dystopian anymore, so yeah, this one definitely has to go. The next book is one that I really wanted to like, and I really tried to like. I think I read a little over 100 pages in this book, and I just could not get myself to like it. It was just such a struggle for me. So that was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, and I have been wanting to read this book for so long, and I've had it on my shelf for a really long time. And then I finally tried to read it, and it just was not for me. It's just not, I don't know why I didn't like this book. I think it was just too slow and too dry. There wasn't a lot of things happening in the first 100 pages, so it just wasn't something that was catching my interest. And yeah, this is one of the biggest disappointments of my life ever. Like, I was devastated when I just could not continue reading it. The next book on this stack is Allegiant by Veronica Roth, and this book is one I obviously just do not like. I don't want to see it, I don't want to look at it, I don't want it on my shelf, and I just need it a billion miles away from me. So this one is one that like 100% has to leave my presence because I just hate this book so much. And yeah, I will never ever forgive Veronica Roth for this book. It's the worst book. It's not even just the ending that's bad, it's literally the entire book that's bad. So yeah, I need to get rid of this book. The next two books are part of a series, and that is Frozen by Melissa De La Cruz and Michael Johnston. I did read the first book. I gave it like a 3 stars. I wasn't super into it. I didn't really hate it either. But I cannot see myself wanting to finish this series. Like, I don't even really remember a lot of what happened in the first book, and it was only maybe a few months ago that I read it. And so that just tells me that I did not enjoy this book, and I don't ever want to read it. So yeah, but I mean, not too much money lost. I literally bought both of these books for $2, so it's really not that much of a loss for me, honestly. The next book is a third book in a series, and this is just one I don't think I'm ever gonna read, and I ended up getting this from the library, I think for like $1 as well, so, This is Half Lost by Sally Green, and I've heard some not so nice things about this series, so I'm just really not interested in reading it. Yeah, like, we'll see. I don't know. I just think I'm gonna get rid of it. If I ever do end up deciding for some reason to read it, the library, it's always there. The next book was a huge disappointment as well, just like An Ember in the Ashes, and that one is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I had been hearing so much good stuff about this on Tumblr, like I think a few years ago, and I decided I wanted to try reading it because it looked so good and everyone loved it and just people were raving about it and making beautiful edits, and so I was like, I have to get in on this. I have to know what all the hype is about. And the hype is about nothing. Nothing. The hype is about nothing because this book is awful. Like, I just did not like it at all. It just was not for me. It's just a personal thing. It's like not anything against whatever. It's just not a book for me. I just personally did not like it. That was just my opinion. I'm sorry if that's a hard opinion to take. I have a lot of unpopular opinions, but this book is just, it was so slow and so dry and so boring. I just could not do it. I just couldn't. I'm sorry. The next book is one that I don't really know why I bought this. Like, I think I was having a really weird day that day when I went to the bookstore to pick out a book, and I was getting really frustrated that day because I couldn't find anything I wanted, and there was nothing that was like LGBTQ+. There was nothing women loving women, and I was just so overwhelmed, so I just bought a book and then left. And that one is Egg and Spoon by Gregory Maguire. I don't know why I bought this. I honestly don't. I think it's set in Russia. That might have been why I bought it. But honestly, I'm never going to read this book ever, ever. And it has the prettiest spine though. Like, look at how pretty that is. And just like a gorgeous cover, but I'm never going to read it. And so I hope someone else will take it and enjoy it and it'll have a good home, because this home is not the right one for it. So we're just not a good match. The next book is, I think, the second book in the series, and that is Trickster's Queen by Tamara Pierce? I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's another problematic author that I've seen like on Twitter and stuff like that, so I'm just not interested in having her books around in my household. So yeah, I really have no idea what this book is about. It looked interesting, so I was like, okay, I'll get the second one from the library. You know, it's like $1, $2, whatever. And then if I ever see the first one, maybe I'll get that one as well. I don't know, we'll see. And then I just don't want to mess with this book at all, so yeah. That's why it's going. Okay, so the next book in this stack is another disappointment, but not as big of a disappointment. It was just kind of like, why didn't I like this? This sucks. That's Internet Famous by Danica Stone. I really did not like the writing in this book. It was just too plain. It kind of sounded like it was like a book that I had written when I was 13. Like, it sounded like my 13-year-old fan fiction. So I just couldn't do it. There was nothing that was like calling out to me, and I just did not like the characterization or the dialogue. The dialogue was so stiff and so forced and just kind of cheesy, and I just didn't like it. So yeah, this one's leaving as well. The next book is one that I kind of laugh about whenever I see it on my shelf, and that is Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. And this is a book I tried to read in high school, and I like literally spent the first like 3 chapters not knowing who the main character was, like who had the point of view in this book. And it wasn't like until like the 3rd chapter that I was like, oh, it's the boy. I had no idea. I had no idea that the main character was a guy. So I just stopped reading it. When I was younger, I kind of had this thing where I would not read books with a boy main character. It was just not gonna happen. So yeah, that's kind of why I stopped reading this book, and I just didn't really like it. It just like was kind of cheesy and weird and just not up my alley. I did watch the movie though, and the movie was super cheesy as well and just painful to watch, so I'm kind of glad I never finished this book. The next book is kind of a random adult literature book, and that is Arthur and George by Julian Barnes. Like, I really liked this cover. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. Like, I really thought this cover was super pretty, but again, I'm just never gonna read this ever, I don't think. You know, it's the same thing with the boy main characters. Like, the story has to be really, really good for me to consider reading a story told from a boy's perspective, so this one is just not it. It's not for me. Not for me. And the very last book in this book unhaul is Mystic City by Theo Lawrence, and this book I got in pretty far, I think. Oh yeah, I'm like more than halfway through. I'm at page like 241, and this is a DNF for me. Like, I just cannot finish it. It is really slow. Like, there's so much potential to the story. I think it could have been really, really amazing, but I could not get into it. I really did like the main character, and I didn't mind, like, the love interest. Like, he was pretty cool or whatever, but I don't think this book is for me. I think I kind of grew out of it a little bit, which is so unfortunate, and I don't know, that's just my issue, getting older. You know, I've had this book since I was, like, 16, I think. So I think that's just an issue of like when you pick up books when you're 16, like compared to when you pick up books when you're 22. So yeah, I mean, I think 16-year-old me, if I would have stuck with it, might have liked it. So there you go. Okay, so that was my book unhaul, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every weekend, hopefully on every Sunday. It usually happens on every Sunday now. I think I've gotten pretty good at it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!